We all take photos and videos to have as keepsakes for the special moments and people in our lives. But every now and then, a creepy photo will emerge when someone spots scary things hidden in pictures, and very often they cannot be explained. Number 5. Wellington Henry Stapleton Cotton was born in 1818 in St. Thomas, Barbados. His father was the governor of Barbados and the Windward Islands, and before joining the military, Combermere attended Christ Church, Oxford. In 1837, he lived in Canada, whereafter he returned to England, where he exchanged his commission into the 1st Life Guards. He would climb to the rank of colonel by 1861, and would eventually retire from the army in 1866. He was known as a good shooter, steeplechase rider, and loved fly fishing, fox hunting, and breeding horses. In 1844, he married Susan Alice Sitwell, and she would pass away 25 years later. Combermere would go on to live for another 22 years until he passed away from coronary thrombosis, 7 weeks after he was run over by a horse-drawn carriage. He would then be succeeded by his eldest son, Robert. On December 5th, 1891, Sybil Corbett, the sister of Lady Combermere, was renting Combermere Abbey as a place for her and her siblings to stay. She decided to take a photo of the Abbey's library, and she set up her camera while the entire staff was out attending Combermere's funeral 4 miles away at St. Margaret's Church in Winbury. She left the camera's shutter open for 1 hour to gain maximum exposure when the plate was developed, and she found that she'd taken a very creepy photo. Sitting in one of the chairs in the library was the transparent figure of a man who, according to the staff, looked remarkably like Lord Combermere. When it was noted that the figure didn't seem to have any legs in the image, some people believed that the spirit may have manifested that way due to the accident that Combermere had with the horse-drawn carriage. The incident caused serious injuries to both of his legs, and although it looked like he was on his way to a full recovery, some people have speculated that the injuries may have contributed to his death. They soon realized that the apparition was, in fact, sitting in Combermere's favorite chair. It has been suggested that a member of staff may have entered the room while the camera shutter was open and sat in the chair for a short while, inadvertently creating the image. This theory was contested by members of the household, however, as the outfits being worn by the men present in the house at the time looked nothing like the clothes worn by the man in the image. Number 4. Tony and Beth Ferguson from New Forest in Hampshire, England, were holidaying in Cornwall in the southwest of England when they stumbled upon a 300-year-old cave. They saw this as an excellent opportunity and decided to explore the cave further. The cave that they found is part of the man-made Carnglaze Caverns, which were mined for slate before the Royal Navy started using them during the Second World War to store rum. Both Tony and Beth are passionate paranormal activity hunters, and the couple has visited many locations all over the world that are rumored to be haunted. When they're not hunting for ghostly apparitions, Tony works as a personal trainer, and Beth has a job in finance. Tony stated that although he's visited many locations before, he felt uneasy as soon as they stepped into the cave. They hadn't had any reports that the cave was haunted, and they only decided to explore it out of curiosity, not thinking that they would be in for a nasty surprise. He goes on to say that as they walked, it felt like they were being watched and like there was someone or something walking behind them. Since he usually carries his cameras around with him, he started placing them around the cave to see what he could capture. Out of nowhere, a mist started to develop right in front of their eyes before stopping and seeming to shapeshift before disappearing. They started hearing constant whispering noises before one specific voice told them to get out. In addition to the cameras placed around the cave by Tony, they also made use of devices called cat balls that would only light up when they're touched. But it was what was captured by the cameras that would surprise and shock them the most. Upon reviewing the footage, they noticed that on 2 occasions, cameras captured spirits passing by them at high speed, and they also caught the audio of the chilling sound of a little girl saying hello, The couple later said that they had just been to Bodmin Moor, where they were doing more paranormal research and didn't expect to capture such creepy pictures while inside a cave that they'd accidentally stumbled upon. Number 3. Raystown Lake is situated in Huntington County, Pennsylvania. It was created in 1975 after a series of dams were created to control flooding in the area in 1905. When the lake had fully formed 7 decades later, the first sightings were reported of a creature that is thought to live under its waters. One of the first and most famous sightings was recorded in 1962 during the Raystown Ski Club water show, and the descriptions given of the creature at the time had been echoed through the decades. Ray, as it is affectionately known by the locals, is said to have similar features to the Loch Ness Monster, though they describe it as having a far more lizard-like face. Biologists have hypothesized that if the creature really does exist, it would almost certainly have to be an herbivore, as there isn't enough animal life in the lake to support such a massive creature. There have also been no reports of geese, ducks, otters, or fish being taken by the creature, and Jeff Krause, wildlife biologist at the lake, suggests that swimmers and boaters don't have anything to fear and are perfectly safe out on the water. Locals seem unperturbed as it remains a popular destination for a family day out. He also states that Ray seems to have similar habits to those of manatees, who are gentle, herbivorous creatures. He adds that the increase in weed beds around the lake will provide more food in shallower areas, which would explain why sightings of Ray have increased. Many people believe that Ray is a surviving plesiosaur-type species, though it's believed that plesiosaurs lacked the ability to lift their heads out of the water, as is often described by witnesses. Other people think that it may merely be a large carp swimming in the lake, as they often grow up to 25 pounds. Older creepy photos show large shadows under the surface of the water, giving a rough idea of the shape of the creature. Fishermen and boaters have described experiencing sudden turbulence in the water before catching glimpses of it, either just beneath the surface or with its curved body briefly emerging from below. Managing director of Raystown Lake, Dwight Beal, says that they've known the creature lives in the lake for some time now. He was asked about its characteristics, and he describes it as a private creature, but says that it often shows itself around April every year. Number 2. Kaylee Love from Swansea, England, and a friend were exploring an old abandoned mental facility in Wales in 2020 when they captured some creepy footage that they were not expecting. They were performing a walkthrough of the facility and decided to capture their experience on video. As Kaylee progresses through the asylum, she describes the building in detail, unaware of anything unusual going on around her. After the video was shot, she uploaded it to YouTube, and it was only a few weeks later that a viewer spotted something strange in the footage. She says that she received a message from one of her subscribers in which they told her that she may have missed something while filming. She reviewed the video and screenshots of the evidence, and she realized that there was something scary hidden in the pictures. As she makes her way down one of the hallways, she pans the camera from left to right before hovering for just a moment on a doorway located at the end of the corridor. In that moment, a figure is visible in the doorway, which resembles a woman with long black hair, dressed in an old-fashioned hospital gown. The figure is then seen moving to the right of the doorway and disappearing into the next corridor over. The footage from a few seconds prior to the sightings shows that the doorway is clear and unobstructed, suggesting that the ghostly woman appeared suddenly out of thin air. Kaylee stated she didn't expect to capture anything paranormal on her video that day, as it was broad daylight, and it was quite ironic that she caught something strange on the occasion that she wasn't looking for it. She declined to share the location of the building, fearing it may be targeted by vandals, but added that several skeptics have watched the footage and have been left baffled by what they saw. She believes that the apparition is the trapped spirit of a former patient at the hospital, and that her room must have been on that particular floor. Kaylee says what surprises her most is the fact that the woman is in no way see-through, but rather presented herself as a solid figure. She's been accused of getting a friend to dress up for the video, but she states that if it comes across an actual living person, she considers herself to have hit the paranormal jackpot after conducting investigations for only 5 months. Number 1. In December of 2013, a scary photo was posted to Reddit by a user who claims that a demon had been caught on tape. The poster states that the photo was taken on a cell phone and shows a monitor at a nurse's station at an undisclosed hospital. The cameras are apparently placed in the rooms so that patients can be monitored remotely from the nurse's station. The photo clearly shows a hospital room containing an array of medical equipment, machinery, and a hospital bed covered in white sheets. On top of the bed, a dark brown figure seems to be perched on top of the patient in a menacing manner, causing many to believe that it's a demon that has entered the room. But as is always the case with this kind of image, there have been those who believe that it's real, and others who say it's just an optical illusion caused by the various objects in the room. Some say that the creature's leg is actually in front of the patient lying in the bed, and that its head is merely a blurred image of medical equipment in the background. It's also been speculated that the demon's arm is in fact just the bedside support arm, which is out of focus, causing it to blend in with other objects in the room, creating the illusion that it's one solid object. But some believers maintain that the figure is either a demon or an astral body. Since the patient died just a few hours after the appearance of the supposed demon, they believe that it may in fact be an image of the patient astral projecting. Due to the grainy quality of the image, the debate has never been settled, and it is destined to remain an unsolved mystery forever. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.